Right, so here we are for our last tutorial, and this one is on making the puzzle pieces. So here's the example that I've set up for you to have a look at. So to start this, we need to go to our Google Drive, and we're going to go to the metric A3 box. This is the same one as we used when we drew the puzzle blocks. Two-finger click on that and open it with AutoCAD. So here's my template. I need a box inside here that is going to be the right size for my puzzle. So I'm going to just start in the corner. Remember 0, 0, 0 to get the origin down here in the corner. And then I'm going to drag it up. The width of my box is going to be 360 and the height is going to be 240. Now that keeps that 6:4 ratio that we were talking about when we did the first tutorial. Now into here we want to divide this up into equal parts. I'm going to use a new tool to do that. It's called an X-line. It's a construction line. So type X-line. And to start with I'm going to put lines horizontally. So I'm going to type 0, 60, 0. And you can see that's put a line through there 60 millimeters up from the start. Just click to lock it down. And I'm going to go again. So X-line, X-line, and then 0. I'm going to 120, so I've added 60 to where I was before. The gaps between all my lines are 60 millimeters, and then go again. And I'm just pressing escape once I've drawn it before I move on to the next line. X-line, press enter. 0, 180, adding 60 again, 0. Takes us a little bit to get this all set up. So I've got my lines that way, and now I need to go set the vertical lines in. So my command changes this way this time. I'm going to type X-line, but I want to just show you a shortcut. If you press the up key, I'm going to do that now. See how the last command comes up. So we go straight to X-line, press enter, then I'm going to go 60, 0, 0. Press enter, and that line goes straight in vertically. Press escape, up arrow for X-line, 120. Oh, sorry, we'll just do that again. Up arrow, X-line, 120, 0, 0. There we go, now we're in business. Up again, 180, 0, 0. Then up again, then up again for the next, oh, excuse me, just press escape, and then we're going to go up, X-line, 240, 0, 0. It's going to give us our line. Up again for the last line. 240. No, we're up to 300, aren't we? 300, 0, 0. So now we've got the grid. You can see that this is going to make up a 6x4 grid or 24 puzzle pieces. Now these heavy lines might get a bit distracting for us later, so I'm just going to turn those all into dotted lines. So you may remember that we can go over here and change our line type, make this a dotted line. At the end of the drawing we're going to delete these lines out. They're just going to help us now so we can just get a good understanding of where all the pieces for the puzzle are going to go. Right, now what we need to do is place the circles between these lines that are going to be like the connecting pieces for the puzzle. So we can choose the circle tool. Now I know where I want it to go, and so I can specify the start point, which is 60 in from the edge and 30 up from the bottom. So we go 60, 30, 0, and that'll lock the circle in the right place there. I'm going to make the diameter of that 10. Now rather than doing this that many times, we can do a little, quite a nice little shortcut now. I'm going to click on the circle and I'm going to type array and click enter. It's going to ask me for what type of array. I'll go rectangular. And now I can change my array so that I've got 5 going in that direction, and I've got 4 going in that direction. Now then I'm going to drag the spacing, so I pick up this tab here and drag up. Now I can type in the spacing here, so if I type in 60, it'll lock those exactly in the center, and the same this way, type in 60, it'll lock them in the center. That's a really nice way to get those circles all lined up. Now we also need circles here, but just to make our puzzle a little bit better when we put it together, we're going to use the ellipse tool, which is here. I'm going to do a center ellipse, and this is going to start here. So we go with 30 in from the edge, 60 up, 0, and we're going to make that 10. Oh dear, we'll do that again. So center of ellipse, 30 in, 60 up, 0. And then we're going to go 10, tab, 0 degrees, and then we can stretch it like this to get an ellipse. Now we only want a slight ellipse, so I'm going to type 12 like that, and see how it's just a little bit different to the circles. It's just a little bit elliptical. Again, we can click on that and array it. Again, a rectangular array. You can get the spacings this way. Remember the spacings for those are 60, so just type it in, and then we can add another one here. You might see that you can just change it up here as well. So if I wanted 7 of them, I just type 7 in there. But obviously we don't. We want 5. So back to 5, and then space those out to 60 again. Oh, I do need 6. Well, that's easy to add. There we go, perfect. Now at the moment, these are all locked together, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is highlight so we're going to go like this, highlight the whole thing, and then we're going to write explode. So not E, X, PL, explode, and click explode. And we're going to explode them all by layer, by layer. Just keep pressing enter. And now, if I click on one of them, it's not connected to the others, so they're all exploded and separate from each other. Right, so we're slowly getting through our drawing. The next thing we want to do is turn off all these little gadgets down here so that we've got nothing locking to anything or nothing sticking. So all these first 5 tools here, first 6 tools should be turned off. And then we're going to use the spline tool to draw our line. We're just going to start up here somewhere outside the box, and we're going to put a curvy line through. Now when I put this line through, get to the end and I press escape. Oh, try again. to the end, double click. Oh. Okay, one more time. You just have to keep experimenting with this until you get it right. Get to the end, press enter. There we go, that's locked it down. Now, just going to zoom in there. See how when I've gone through this, I've kind of aimed to go to 1/2. So see this one? It kind of has like a predominant, a big half and a small half, like a third and a 2/3. And that's something that I suggest that you aim for yours with your lines as well. Don't try and go right through the middle through halfway, just try and go slightly either side of halfway. Now these lines don't need to be too curvy. Remember, you're making this for a little kid. So it doesn't need to be too complicated. Right, it's going to get boring to keep going up here and clicking on this, so I'm going to type in spline. And now I can drag through. Press enter. And remember, you can use your up arrow to repeat that command, so use the up arrow and that's going to speed things up for us. Up arrow for spline. You can see I'm not making these too complicated. Now we need to do the horizontal lines. Right, and now we need to, some of these lines are excess, so we need to trim them out. So we use the trim tool, this one over here, or you can type trim if you want. And I'm going to select everything, so I'm going to click up here and drag a box that highlights absolutely everything. Make sure it's all highlighted before you click down. And then you hover over one of these lines and you 2-finger click. So to start with, I go through and I delete out all the centers of the circles. You can see the shape of your puzzle starting to come together now. Okay, that looks like I've got them all. Now, the last thing to do is delete out half of the circle. Now, if I delete out this half of the circle, that's the big half, the puzzle's going to lock together quite easily, but it won't probably stay that well attached to itself. But if I delete out this, the puzzle's going to, this little arrow and this sort of angle inside here is going to make the puzzle interlock better. So when I'm going around and deleting half the circle, I'm looking to delete the smaller half of the circle. So take that one out, and you can see how that puzzle piece is going to interlock nicely. Again, take that out and you can see how the piece is going to interlock in there. This one here, 50-50, doesn't matter which way you go. But I'm always sort of aiming to take the smaller half out. There's something wrong with that one, we'll come back to it later. It's everything on that line, we'll come back to it. Might as well just go around and tidy up the ends of these lines while you've got your trim tool out. Right, we've got a few problems with some of these circles here, so we're just going to press escape, and we're going to select the trim tool again, and we'll just re-drag our box. And then we'll come in here, and yeah, sometimes it just gets a little bit glitchy on you like that. That looks good. Press escape. And the last thing we need to do before our puzzle's finished is just go through and delete out those construction lines, the X lines that we drew at the start. They're fussy, aren't they? You've got to click on them perfectly. Now that looks good. None of the puzzle pieces look similar. You can see that when you put the puzzle together, all the puzzles are sort of unique. All the pieces are unique, so it's going to fit together nicely. So save that once you're done. I've been using this format, my name, puzzle pieces. This is the second one I've done, so I'll call it 002. And then I'll save that. Once you've saved it, you can save it again. As a DXF, AutoCAD DXF. And you can save that if you want to the Google Drive. I'll save it to my desktop and drive it across, save it across, drag it across later, and that's the drawing that we'll use for when we laser cut your puzzle pieces. So now we've saved it as a DWG and a DXF. So that's the end of our tutorial on how to cut the puzzle pieces. Thank you.